Hello again. Of course, you tuned into Box to Box, the show that changes the way you watch sport. I'm Kiri, Bloore, and to my left is none other than my partner in crime, the gorgeous Sophia. Stefano, how are you doing?
I'm very good, thank you, Kiri. And as always, we have an action-packed show and a lot of football and boxing to discuss.
Indeed, we do. Well, coming up on the show tonight, we'll be hearing from David Hay.
And don't forget, you can also join in the conversation on social media. Our Twitter handle is @Box2Box Show.
Okay, well, as always, the sofa is packed full. We have McKenzie, former Premier League footballer and now professional boxer. Welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me on.
No worries. And we have also got Rory Jennings, Chelsea Fan TV. He's not smiling as much as the girl next to him. Emma Story, I have never seen someone smile so much. And on my script it says Mad Hatter Spurs fan. Yes, just a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay, well, it's about that time where we check out this week's sporting headlines. Well, what better place to start than with Spurs? Harry Kane was the man of the match as his team's 4-0 victory at Sunderland tightens the gap to 5 points from Premier League leaders Leicester. With Ali and Kane scoring 2 goals apiece, it looks like the race for the top is far from over. Leicester City may be sitting at the top of the table, but striker Jamie Vardy faces an extended ban during the Premier League title run-in after being charged with improper conduct by the FA. Vardy argued with referee John Moss after he was shown a red card in Sunday's 2-2 draw with West Ham. The FA have also charged Leicester with failing to control their players after West Ham won an 83rd minute penalty. And in a little roundup of this weekend's action, Man City have finally found the form they have been searching for all season with a 3-0 win at Chelsea. Yes, you can laugh now. And a win over PSG, which sees them move forward to the semi-finals of Champions League for the first time. Aguero's hat-trick on Saturday took him to 99 goals in the Premier League. Aston Villa have been condemned to the Championship for the first time since 1987 after a defeat to Manchester United. And finally, for football news, Arsenal should have won against Crystal Palace comfortably to leapfrog Manchester City into third, but instead, and as always, their 1-1 draw means they remain fourth in a very nervy race for Champions League football. So what's been happening in the boxing world, my love?
Well, this weekend, Leeds boxer Josh Warrington took a large step towards a showdown with IBF World Featherweight Champion Lee Selby with a unanimous points decision over Japan's Amagasa. On the prospect of facing Selby, he said, "It's a fight that I want, the Leeds people want, and I think I have what it takes to beat him." Also on that bill, Stuart Hall earned a shot at his old IBF bantamweight title with a hard-earned points win over Guerrero. He's now mandatory challenger to face Lee Haskins, who he lost to in 2012. Across the pond, sadly, Stephen Smith fell short in his attempt to join brother Liam as world champion, losing a unanimous points decision to IBF super featherweight champion Jose Bradajska in Connecticut. And in other news, this weekend, unbeaten middleweight sensation Golovkin will defend his unified titles against mandatory unbeaten challenger Dominic Wade. Let's see if Golovkin achieves his 22nd knockout in a row. The winner of that fight is poised to fight the winner of the intriguing matchup between Canelo and Khan on May the 7th.
Well, it's been a busy week in boxing, but if they were going to grow guests for our show,
organically grow them.
They would have grown Leon McKenzie. You are our perfect guest. Football and boxing, we thank you. Now, tell us about the changeover. Well, you said earlier it's a question that lots of people ask, but it's obviously a question that provides quite a lot of intrigue. Moving from Premier League football over to boxing, was it a hard transition?
Not really. Again, the question gets asked a lot, so I'll answer it again. It's my family's a boxing. I'm from a boxing family, so in my family, my dad is my trainer at the moment. Was a former British and European champion, and my uncle's a three-time former world champion. So it's in the DNA. We didn't think we'd get the weight of obviously 18 years in football. So I got like to kind of 35 and I never thought I'd jump into the professional boxing ring, but obviously got a little bit bored after football.
Yeah.
And then just started training, started sparring, started doing really well, and then just said to the old man,
well, doing really well is the thing. I mean, you've had some success, haven't you, this January?
Yes, it's been going really well. I mean, we're coming up to 10 fights now, and the next fight will be for the English title. I'll be 38 next month. I think it's a massive achievement.
Now you fought Kelvin Young for the eliminator of the English title. Now the current champion is Jermaine Smile, is that right? And he fights Liam Cameron on May the 28th, and they're your mandatory challenger for that.
That's right, yeah.
Whoever wins that fight. That's a really big achievement to have come from totally different sports and then to not be just competing for titles, but a serious title in the English title.
Yeah, I mean, when we first set off to turn professional, we just wanted to win a belt. I achieved that in March 2014, I believe. I think it says on my arm. just in case I forget. Yeah, or something, 2015, I can't remember. But a couple of years ago, so we won an international masters title, but things opened up for me after winning that belt. I then went on to fight for a final British title eliminator against John McCallum, which I beat. And then obviously off the back of that, got this opportunity to fight Kelvin Young, who was actually very experienced with 23 fights in 17 wins. So on paper, he was down to beat me pretty comfortably. And it was supposed to be a 50-50 fight.
Didn't beat you comfortably, did he?
Unfortunately not. 43 seconds it took me. So yeah, you know, off the back of that, it's going in the direction where things can, you know, if I win this next fight, things will really open up.
So when do you think this next fight, am I hearing that possibly you could be on the David Hay bill, or maybe a September fight? Or? Yeah,
I mean, with the fight taking place May the 28th between the champion and Liam Cameron, you know, depending on how that fight goes, but I'm thinking with a 2-3 month kind of gap, I'm hoping that I'll be able to make that fight happen. To be honest, I've spoke to both of them on Twitter anyway, so I said all the best to whoever wins, but I'm fighting.
Do you have a preference as to who you want to win?
Not really, because for me, I just want to fight for the English title. I'm next in line. Liam Cameron did actually try and have a little pop at me on Twitter to say,
I love this with the boxers.
I'm not.
What is it about the Twitter banter?
I'm not really a fan of doing it, to be honest, but sometimes some of these boxers pipe up a little bit.
It does give a little bit. I mean, we'll talk about this a bit later on, but to be fair, creating your own hype, Shannon Briggs, he's
he's a great self-promoter.
Creating your own hype.
Yeah, but there's a difference with, you know, Shannon Briggs is a proper character, right? Liam Cameron.
Yeah.
It's a different ball game.
Shall we say Liam Cameron, you need to pipe down? Is that
it's just a different kind
of... In your box.
Yeah,
see what I did there?
Yeah,
okay.
It's just a different, different situation.
Let's get back into football then. So you had, as you said, a long and healthy career in football, 115 goals I think it was. And in terms of those goals, is there any favourite memories, any moments? Obviously you played for Crystal Palace, Newcastle. Is there any favourite memories out there?
Yeah, I've scored some quite important goals.
Come on, let's hear them.
No, I think one people sort of remember is my goal against Manchester United, which was a winning goal. Unfortunately, we didn't stay up that season, but it was a very important goal at that particular time of the season. And I've usually scored on my debut for my club, so like my first debut goal at 17 was for Crystal Palace, and then I went on to score for Peterborough, and then I scored 2 goals for Norwich. On my debut against Ipswich, which was pretty massive.
And you got promoted with Norwich, is that right, as well, into the Premier League?
So yeah, I went there that season, and then we got promoted into the Premier League. And yeah, didn't start off at the beginning, but I actually came on against Chelsea, actually, Rory.
Well, these two have been itching away to talk, so let's move on, guys. First of all, as we've just talked about Crystal Palace, let's talk about Alan Pardew. He is getting some serious stick right now, and yes, don't worry, guys, we will talk about rubbish Chelsea and amazing Spurs. We'll get there. Rubbish chat. Let's talk about Alan Pardew for a second. He certainly turned things around for Crystal Palace. It's now dumping off a little bit, let's say. Yes, Arsenal should have beat them. It's embarrassing. We'll move on from that. What do you think about Alan Pardew's position? Is he likely to go at the end of this season?
I mean, it's difficult. He might have bought himself some time now because there's a little bit more of a gap between them and the bottom. I mean, they were in complete freefall till a couple of weeks ago. They hadn't won a game in the league since December. And I think things are looking pretty ropey. He's always been quite a streaky manager. So he'll go through a run of like great results, but then he'll go through a run of horrendous defeats.
It's weird, isn't it?
It's very strange. And I think it's a little bit of a... I don't know what the word is. Like, it's hard to know whether it's the fact that he's not connecting with his team or whether it's his tactics. Like, to be that streaky, to literally go from being really good to really bad with nothing in the middle.
Reflection of his personality. I know, Leon, that you work with him, and sometimes with a manager like that really has the grit to pull them out and get them playing. maybe that only lasts a certain amount of time? I mean, what are your thoughts?
Alan Pardew is a intriguing character, so I don't think.
Well
what does that mean?
worded.
I think personally, obviously, what everyone forgets is the people behind him. So tactically, it's not just all about what he's saying.
Yeah, he's not
So
making all the decisions.
exactly. So there's a lot of things that happen behind him. I think generally the players, from a man-to-man management kind of thing, I think he does okay from what I hear, but there's something fundamentally wrong with his personality, how he perceives himself. And there's a lot of people that don't like Alan Pardew. That's the reality.
Yeah.
Why that is down. Only he knows, and the people are addressing them.
I mean, I think the thing as well with Palace is that if you look at them now, you kind of go, well, a mid-table finish, probably quite a lot of Palace fans would have taken that at the start of the season. But if you go back a few months, they were in contention for European football, and they've fallen away so spectacularly and so rapidly for no real reason. It's not like they picked up loads of injuries. You kind of got to go.
There's no real
question.
explanation, is there? Well, let's talk about somebody that has, a club that certainly has fallen away and it's disastrous. Villa are down and it's massively disappointing, Rory. Let's talk. There's a lot of talk about David Moyes stepping up to that managerial position. Is that the right decision for them?
I think that Villa are a rotten club at the moment. I think it really is bad for them, and I feel sorry for them. It's a great club. It's a great club, steeped in history, wonderful ground in Britain's second city, and it's sad to see. But I don't think it's simply a case of bringing in a new manager and seeing a change.
It's
I think
getting
that
out the core at the back as well,
exactly.
isn't it?
They need to get rid of everybody at that club.
Well, it looks like they've done a good job with Bon Lahore. He's
Well,
off.
yes, but the owner, the management.
She said it as well. I'm so proud of her.
I want the name. We were practicing earlier.
But yeah, the owner, the management, the whole structure at the top of that, it's like you said, it's rotten, and it's so terrible for those fans because it is a great club, and to see. I mean, we'll get on to Agbon Lahore and we'll discuss the,
let's just talk about that. As a player, as a footballer, I mean, what he actually did, fine, they say he's a little fat. I didn't say that. But what he actually
This is a
did,
bungalow, right?
Yeah.
Right.
As he went out and technically partied, I suppose, after being relegated. I know that we've heard a lot of the players really haven't presented themselves in the best light, but what he did, is that actually that bad?
Do you know why it's bad? And this is honest truth, because a bungalow, but whatever he's a bungalow.
We'll go with that.
Nearly got it wrong there. A bungalow. He's not really performed for a good number amount of years, and you have to judge someone on what they are actually doing for that team. So what is he done for Aston Villa in regards of what he potentially could have been?
Yeah.
So I think, you know what, he's more happy to see the money coming in his bank account each month, and this is honest truth, than actually, playing with his heart and having a go.
Because he's a reflection of most of the Villa
Didn't they
fans
say there was an
as well?
awful stat that I think Jamie Carragher came out and said he'd had one of the games he'd had for 8 touches and 2 of them were kickoffs. And it was actually a record of the lowest amount of touches, I think, on
of all of the Villa players, because I mean, you were hearing.
Well, I can't speak.
You?
Yeah, I mean,
he went meltdown,
you can't really sort of speak for everyone because everyone's obviously individually different, right?
Mm.
But you have to look at that. Some of these guys are getting some serious money, which are, all credit to them. But at the same time, you have to conduct yourself in a way where, if you know you're so privileged to be playing football in the first place, you can't be addressing your social networks with such disrespect to a fantastic club. By the way, Villa is a fantastic club, and you've got players that are just kind of trying to bounce off each other, trying to stick together, but at the same time they're saying the wrong things. And you have to have some kind of.
He said it was a relief. What was he saying?
It was a relief to be relegated.
And he tweeted a picture of his car the day that they got beat.
The disrespect to their fans is just appalling.
Okay, so Rory, what's the way out for Villa?
The way out is a change of chairman.
Not David Moyes.
The way out is definitely not David Moyes. But I think that what they need is a regime change. I think they need Randy Lerner out of the club. I mean, the Villa fans are desperate for that to happen. We were there recently, and they even made us look good. We put 4 past them, which Pato scored. I've never seen anything
really
like
saying
it.
something.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and it was palpable when we were in Birmingham and in the stadium. It's a poisonous atmosphere at the moment. I think that has to start at the top of the pyramid, and you'll only change what's going on throughout the club by filtering out what's going on at the top, and it has to be Randy Lerner out of that club.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think
Agreed.
so. Now, we will pick up on this. We will pick up on Spurs and actually their wages as well, because something's going to have to change there. We'll be talking about Jamie Vardy and a whole lot more. Join us back on the sofa with Neil McKenzie, Rory Jennings and Emma Story and us guys in just a second.